All right, Walker. Well, like I said, I appreciate the hell out of you for reaching out and yeah, saying yes to doing this. That's cool. I just put out the PBB on on the internet, and you showed up and said, "Hey, I got a cool story. Let's go." So yeah,
Yeah.
thanks for
Yeah.
doing this.
Happy to be here, man.
Yeah, man. Tell me something. Tell me something about yourself that I need to know to understand who you are.
Uh, that's a good question. I guess I get a lot of people kind of say, "Man, I can't really figure you out. Like you kind of seem like nothing bothers you and you're just pretty level all the time, but I can get pretty wild. I like being outgoing and get intense and when I'm involved in something like I want to go full bore into it and give the best I can and can get a little crazy, can be good, can be bad, but I try to, stay pretty level-headed and not, get too emotional too much, and there's a time and place for all that, so
I get that feel from like just scrolling through your Instagram. I don't know. I looked up whatever I could about you, obviously
yeah.
before this, and you got a lot going on. Like you got, former pro BMXer. You know, you've got this Western lifestyle. Looks like that you
Yeah.
live, which is super interesting. Rodeo,
Yeah.
Western lifestyle seems important to you. Looks like you got a little bit of a rowdy side to you as well.
Yeah.
So
Uh,
tell me a bit about your past. Like, tell me a little bit about BMXing. How'd you get into that? Where did that start?
yeah, so I started, when I was 7 years old. My dad is from Southern California. He raced BMX growing up, and
The Mecca.
yeah, yeah, he was kinda, BMX, motocross, like, just the whole California dream, really. And we had no idea like that there was even tracks in Fort Collins. And my mom used to take my brother and I and sister out for like bike rides just on like the trail. And we were cruising down the trail and saw the track and we're like, oh yeah, like let's go check it out. Kind of rode for a little bit and didn't know anything about it. And my dad was like, oh no way, like I used to do that when I was a kid. Like let's go, let's find out when they race. And we went out there on a Saturday and did the local thing, and, like, we had no idea what we were doing, we loaded up like we were going to some massive event. My dad's got the truck loaded down, coolers, the whole 9, and there was, like, 10 people, I think, at the race. Like, there wasn't even enough kids for me to race. I was racing adults, but we had a blast, and it was something that we could do the whole family, the soccer, the football, all the other stuff. It was, like it was too spread out, and it was just a lot, so my parents were like, "You know what? This is something I think would be good and you guys really like it and we can all do it as a family, like, let's do it." And we just kinda went from there and, started we didn't leave the local track in Fort Collins for probably 3 years. Like, we didn't even know there was other tracks in the state, and then some parents were like, "Hey, like, there's other tracks, like, you guys should go and check them out." And then once that happened, it was, like, full gas. Like, we were going to 3 different races on a Saturday, we were going to 2 on a Sunday, and, like, it just kinda took off from there. So
What's the progression look like to go from like just weekender amateur to like pro? Like how do you
Uh, I mean, it's kind of it's a pretty drawn out process, really. Like you have your local races, your town track, you have your state races. From there, there's like they're called Gold Cups. They're kind of like a in your region type deal, and then there's national events that are all over the nation, and then world events that are all over the world. So we kind of just went through the ranks, and there's different like rankings. When you start, you're considered a novice. You win X amount, you're an intermediate, you go expert, and then once you're an expert, the next step is pro. Um, and a lot of people just are expert forever. Some
yeah.
people turn pro. So I think I turned expert when I was probably 9, 10, and getting to go around. We still didn't really travel further than like Denver area. And then met a guy whose kid that I raced with. We became pretty good friends. He's like, "Hey, like I want to help you. Like I want to make you better. Like if this is what you want to do." And started doing that, and he was helping me. And then we started traveling to the national events. I think when I was like 10, 11, had some, I guess, good luck, good success, and it just kind of went from there. Like it was something that I really wanted to do, and started getting good at an early age. And by the time I was 12, we were going like full national tour. Like I was in a different state every weekend. And then ended up winning the national overall title for my age group 2 times in a row. And then, I mean, from there, that was like, okay, I want to be pro. Like I want to do this for a living. and we just kind of went at it
That's
full
so
gas.
cool. Like I, BMXing, I didn't really like. Is it like still like a popular thing?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, it's been in the Olympics since 2008. So
So that's so rad because like uh I grew up in the 80s and 90s. Like I was born in 81. I'm 44 now. And the 80s and 90s, like obviously, I don't know if you've seen it, probably have if you've been in BMX,
yeah.
you've seen Rad,
Oh yeah.
right? Yeah, like that was the movie for me as a kid that I think for a lot of people got them into BMXing.
Yeah.
And they just like they wanted like it was just such a wicked movie. I remember like we couldn't afford much at that time, and so like we wanted my mom to get us some gear, like some BMXing gear, and it have like Rad on it.
Yeah.
So I can remember her buying like a couple cans of spray paint. Like she made like a stencil, and she like spray painted. Like she made the shirt as
Yeah.
best she could, and like my brother and I rode with that shit on, and we just thought like we were the greatest. Like I don't know, BMXing growing up definitely in the 80s and 90s was like huge.
Yeah.
It was starting to get massive pop, and I didn't realize it was like as popular now.
Yeah.
But it's so cool to see it. Like that was one of the things as soon as you like reached out and said like I was BMX pro, I was like sick. Like,
Yeah.
I gotta talk to him about this.
Yeah.
This is cool.
Yeah, yeah, that's funny you say that too, because same thing, like, my dad's like, "Oh, I'd love for these guys to ride motocross," but, we couldn't afford it, and having 3 kids, he's like, "I can't afford 3 dirt bikes and go to the track," and, like, as cool as it
Rebuilding
would
dirt
be,
bikes every other weekend.
yeah, it just wasn't a thing, and so, even our BMX bikes, it was, like, hand-me-down bikes that were hanging on the fence at the track, like, that people were selling, like, "Yeah, cool,"
Yeah.
and it was one of those I didn't get my first brand new anything until I earned it and got on a team that paid for it and provided it, and then that passed down to my brother and then my sister, so it was same sort of thing. My dad, I remember him in the garage, like, cutting out number plates out of fiberglass and painting them, and, like, the stencils are still in our shop, like, on the wall, and,
Yeah.
like, we didn't know the colors meant anything, so we had all these crazy colors, and the track's like, "Hey, you can't do that, man, like, it's cool plate, but you gotta run this." My dad's, "Oh, okay, sounds good,"
That's
so
so awesome. Like my brother and I, the only thing we like so I'm from British Columbia, Canada.
Oh, cool.
And we have like a lot of they call it crown land, so a lot of like public
Mhm.
land. And we lived I grew up in a small forestry mining blue collar town, and I grew up like 30 minutes outside of town on 5 acres,
Nice.
and that 5 acres was surrounded by as much public land as you wanted, like you could just go,
Right.
like so in the wintertime it was ice hockey because we're Canadian, and in the summertime it was all we cared about was our next tank of fuel for our dirt bike.
Yeah.
Did dad bring gas home
Yeah.
after work? Like dad was a lineman, owned his own line company. Like, did he bring gas home for
Yeah.
us tomorrow? Because we're out. We ran her dry. And that's all we can like that's all we did was ride dirt bikes or BMX or
Yeah.
whatever. And yeah, so I relate with that a lot. Is the greatest. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's such a like both of those sports are so good. Like it was magazines at the time, so we'd mom would take us to the grocery store and we'd pick out the latest edition of Motocross magazine.
Yep.
We'd rip out all the page, cut out all the pages that we liked, and our whole bedroom walls were just like Jeremy McGrath,
Oh, yeah.
like Ricky Carmichael, and like I don't know. That was my era, so that's so sick. I'm like, I gotta talk to this kid about this.
Yeah.
So I'm happy to hear that it's still like, is it a thriving sport still?
Yeah, I mean,
Like, do you do it much anymore?
I don't.
Yeah,
I don't it's one of those deals for me anyway, and it's kinda funny because there's a lot of guys in the sport that are like this, but when you're done, you're done.
yeah.
And
That was me with hockey too. Like,
yeah,
competitive till I was
right.
18, and then just
It's just one of those things, like, I didn't wanna be I didn't wanna be the Uncle Rico out there like, "Oh, I still got it," and
sure, sure.
when I was done, I just had to be totally done, and when I did end up deciding to be done, I had a team that I had started the last couple years of my racing career. So I'm like, "Well, I'll stay in it one more year and coach these kids and at least do that, and we'll see. Maybe I'll change my mind." And it was just at that point, I'm like, "I'm not giving you guys 100%. I don't wanna keep going and, only give you half my time.
Sure.
So let's just be done." And yeah, I mean,
Was it a tough decision for you?
yeah, it was pretty tough, man. I mean, that's what I've done my whole life. I mean, I played football and I wrestled and ran track and I did all like the school sports, but BMX is like my priority, because it got to a point probably when I was 13, I got into a like a factory team, it'd be like a Kawasaki Pro Circuit team, like
Sure.
that caliber of a team. And it was like, hey, we expect you to be healthy and to be here at these races. You go break your leg skateboarding or wrestling or something, like that's not going to fly. Like we're counting on you. So I kind of had to put everything else to the side and make sure I was good. Um, but
That was like playing ice hockey for us. Like my dad was pretty strict on like if you broke your leg. I broke my leg when I was 13, just frigging around in the backyard,
yeah.
just completely stabbed my tibia and fibula in half.
Oh.
And I was out, and I just remember like it was hard for him to come check on me because he was like, "God damn it, kid! Like this is like you're in your prime right
Yeah.
now. Like
Yeah.
you're 13, you're ready to go like this." And you, God, like, and it was just screwing around. He was always like, you can't go skiing, snowboarding.
Right.
Like you got to play hockey.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. It was always tough because my parents were like, well, yeah, we want you to be a kid,
Yeah,
do whatever you want. Like maybe BMX isn't it, but also like it is it right now. And you're committed to all this stuff. So let's maybe be careful what we do, because I skateboard, snowboard, I was willing to do anything.
yeah,
Like, ride dirt bikes. If someone had a dirt bike to ride, cool. I'm there. I'm riding. So yeah, it was tough making that decision, just, the friends. So that's actually how I met my wife. She raced BMX growing up, came from a
sick.
huge BMX family. When I was getting into it, like into the national scene, like world scene, her family was like the top dogs. Their brother, sister, they were all number one in the world. Like her dad owned a team that was like the number one factory team. It was like they were like celebrities in the BMX world. Um, and I wanted to ride for her dad's team, and he's like, yeah, I don't know. And then I started doing really well, and he's like, hey, you should start coming to the races with us. Hey, do you want to come train with us? And that's how I ended up meeting them. But I mean, I met so many people throughout the years doing it that I consider family, and now some that are family.
Mhm.
It was pretty tough just to kind of walk away from all that. And I still talk to a lot of people. And recently I just started, there's a track up in Gillette, Wyoming.
Bit of Gillette.
Yeah,
It's
I,
about all it's there.
yeah,
It's
there's
some
not,
rodeo grounds.
yeah, exactly. And a good friend of mine from school, he lives up there.
Yeah.
So the track hit me up, was like, hey, would you be willing to do a clinic? Yeah, absolutely. I'd
Shit,
love
yeah.
to. Yeah, I haven't
Good
done
idea.
it in a long time. Yeah, I'll be there. And so I went out there and like, you gonna ride? And I'm like, no, I'm not gonna ride, but I can sure teach you guys a lot. And we did like a 6-hour camp. And
What do you teach in a clinic? Talk me about like how do you package something like that?
so it kind of depends. When I was doing it like a lot, because that's like a way for professional guys to kind of make some money,
Yeah, for sure.
and to give back kind of to the community. At least for me, that's what it was. So I had like an advanced rider clinic, kids that were expert, kids that were wanting to kind of take it to the next level. And it was more of like a training camp. But then I'd do like beginner stuff through like rec centers, or even if there's just a lot of new kids at the track, just more basics, like teaching them like the gate start, how to line up in the gate, just, where to keep your pedals when you're going over a jump. Cause it's just
Sure.
stuff that a lot of people think is you should just know. But for a kid who knows how to ride his bike on the sidewalk, goes to a track, I mean, he has no idea. So, and then just getting them like, hey, you guys want to do this with your bikes, might be a little better as a new guy, or what gear, just kind of steer them in the right direction. Cause it's like any sport, you get into it and there's kids that are pretty good and they think, well, I need to have the best bike and the best gear and the best this. And that's not the case. You can make work, with used stuff or not the best
Sure.
equipment and be really good still.
There's
So,
probably like a lot of things in like BMXing to me seems like you got to be pretty like in shape, like
yeah, for
pretty
sure.
good like cardio kind of in shape, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And there's probably a lot of things you can teach as well that are like how to like work up like a pump systems, like
Right.
you're not like pedaling all the time,
Yeah,
things like
yeah,
that,
yeah. Like
right?
learning track speed and
Yeah,
stuff like that. And that was kind of like more like the advanced kids. I'd
sure.
put together like a little, I guess, training program, like, hey, do this stuff, like, on the stairs or whatever it was to like get better, fitness wise, to help them on the track. Cause it's a lot.
Yeah.
I would compare it to like a track out, like a 100-meter sprinter.
Mhm.
You combine that with a guy who's in good like motocross shape. You got to be able to go all day long, but you also need to be quick and light, but super strong. Like, there's so much you had
Sure.
to package into one. There's a lot.
Did you ever get into riding park?
I did a little bit, yeah, when I was younger, which I mean, I would tell kids even now at the track, like riding skate parks and dirt jumps and stuff like that made me such a better BMX rider. Just getting comfortable on my bike, just being super comfortable in
Sure.
uncomfortable situations. Um, and there's a lot of kids that never do that because it's like, well, I can't get hurt at the skate park, and then that kind of shows like on the track, like they don't really have the bike skills that they need versus a guy who's like can ride everything.
I imagine there's all sorts of like little nuances. Like I'm sitting here thinking about like body positioning, like foot positioning on pedals, like weight distribution,
Yeah,
like
for
all those
sure.
sorts of things that you could learn at the park that would translate directly to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. I mean, it's a game of inches, millimeters.
Yeah.
Like I mean, a full race lap is under a minute long, and there's so much that happens, and you got 7 other guys on the track with you. I mean, every little thing counts and, matters, so.
What's like one of your biggest highlights?
Uh, I would say, I mean, I had a lot of success as a kid, 13, 14, 15. But when I was 17 is when I turned pro, and I made the world team one time as a amateur when I was 15, 16. And then when I turned 17, I made it as like they call it a junior elite class. So it's the one step before like the elites, like the Olympic level. You're 17 and 18 in those 2 years when you do that. And so I made the team. There was 5 guys that were 18 and there was 3 of us that were 17. And we went to the World Championships in Rotterdam, Netherlands. And that was just like the coolest experience. I mean, that was something that was a goal of mine for a long time, and it was kind of crazy leading up to that. Probably 2 weeks before I left, we were at the local track. There was like a state qualifier race. I wasn't racing. I was just there watching my brother, and he had a crash and had a bad accident. Ended up putting him in the hospital. He was in the ICU for like I think it was like 12 or 15 days. Like almost died.
What?
Yeah, lacerated his kidney, exploded his spleen. Like it was a really bad situation, and it was
Like off a jump or something?
yeah. He hit a jump that he'd hit a million times, and when he landed, his stem on his bike, the bolts broke, and he smacked into the lip of the next jump, and just like instant, stopped him dead in his tracks. And we've been doing this a long time. I'd seen him crash, and right away I'm like, oh, this isn't good. Like something's not right.
Yeah.
So we run over there and check him out, and I knew something was wrong. And long story short, he ends up getting life flighted to the hospital here in Denver. And this was by the time he was in the hospital that next week, I had a week before I was supposed to leave. And it was one of those like, hey, if we open him up, he's gonna die. If we don't open him up, he still could die because he's internally bleeding so bad. Like we don't know what to do. So it's kind of a touch and go situation. And I'm like sitting there going, I just accomplished, one of like my dream, and I was fully willing, like, hey, cut me open, take my kidney. I don't need to go. Like that's how we were raised in our family. We're super tight. But my parents were like, no, you need to go. Like your brother wants you to go, like just go. So I went, and it was just a crazy roller coaster, like highs and lows, like calling,
Sure.
checking on my brother, but also trying to enjoy, like, because we were there a week early for a training camp too. So we were driving all over Europe and going to different tracks and like getting ready. And it was just super cool. And when I got there, uh, we were in another country. I was 17, but the kid I was staying with, one of my best buds, he was 18. So he's like, hey, like, let's get some beers. Yeah, sure. Nope. Let's do it. We're in Europe, man.
Sure, yeah.
So we had some beers in the room. Well, a couple guys caught wind of that and, ended up telling the head coaches of USA Cycling what we were doing, and it turned into a whole thing. And I remember that next day, they pull us down and they're like, they got the lawyers, they got everybody. And they're like, hey, so this is the deal. Like, you guys can stay, and there's consequences when you get home, or you can turn your passports in and you guys leave right now and you don't race. And I'm like, man, I'm 17. Like, I don't know what to do. So they had already called my parents, and I called my parents, and they were like, are you kidding me? Your brother's dying in the hospital, and we're getting phone calls about,
Dang.
yeah, sending you home from the biggest race of your life for drinking. Like, dude, I'm like, "Yeah, I don't know," and so that just added to the
Yeah.
whole, like, situation, and I ended up saying, "You know what, dude, I came all this way, my brother's in the hot like, I don't care. I'll take the consequences, like, I'm racing." And I ended up racing. It was a crazy, crazy race. Like there's thousands of people. It was a 3-story indoor building, and the starting hill we started on 3 stories tall. So we were at the top, like looking down at all these people. And I had crashed in one of my qualifying races, got up, still made it through. Like it was just a super hectic day. And the USA Cycling like coaches and everyone had totally wrote me off. Like this kid is dead to us at this point. And it was funny. I was the only junior men to make the final that day. And when I made the final, they were all like, "Hey, like, can we get you anything? Like, do you need food? Do you need
Here's your
water?"
passport back.
I said, "You know what, guys? Like, I'm good. You know what? I'm doing me." And yeah, it was pretty cool. It was like a televised deal. I wrote four Sully, it's my brother's name, like on my glove. And like, it was just a crazy, I ended up getting seventh. So I was seventh in the world. It was just roller coaster of a trip. And I just was like, man, this is like the highlight, I'd say, like, just for everything that had happened and the whole situation, like, it was one of the coolest and good and bad experiences that I think I'd had, so
I love that so much. That is so I have kind of a similar story, to be honest. Like, I, went to play for Team Canada in an international ice hockey tournament
yeah.
in the Czech Republic, and we did some, we hit Germany first and did some warm up for in Germany, a couple
Mhm.
games there, then went and did this tournament in Prague, and same sort of thing. I was 14.
Yeah.
I'm in Europe, 14.
Yeah.
Like, hey, you can get into a club at 14.
Yeah.
So yeah, we snuck out of the hotel, and when we got back, like everybody was waiting in the lobby for us
Oh,
at like
yeah.
2 in the morning. Just like, oh shit, we're gone. Yeah, it was not a good scenario.
Oh.
Whatever.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta have a little bit of
You're a teenager in Europe. Like,
y
how long?
yeah, you
Like,
gotta
what
be
do
a
you
little
expect?
wild.
You have to.
Yeah, you gotta I
And you know
and
what? It's still like I'm not promoting this, kids, but it's still a story I share today.
oh, yeah.
I
You'll never
wouldn't
forget
share it
that.
if I went home.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. If you would've went home, you would be like,
God,
"Now, like, I shoulda stayed."
yeah. I got caught drinking and they sent me home.
Yeah.
That's a lame story.
Yeah, my buddy that I was in the room with, I just talked to him the other day. He lives in Texas, and we were just talking about that. Like, dude, just had to do it. Someone had to do it, man. We didn't think we were doing anything too crazy at that time, but
Yeah.
and it's so funny too, because like in the BMX world, a lot of the pros, like my brother-in-law, I mean, he's a two-time Olympian, number one numerous times, like the best of the best. And that dude parties like a rock star, an absolute rock star, like living a Motley Crue movie. And so coming up, you're like, okay, well, I guess that's what I got to do if I want to be that good. And it's funny. You're either on that side of it or the total straight narrow. You're in bed by 8 and everything's good, which is good. That's what you should be doing at a high level. But
Right.
trying to navigate that was always
Yeah.
pretty funny
It is a game of inches. And like if that's what you want to do for the rest of your life,
for sure.
this is the thing too. Like I always had those people I come up around. Like whatever sport I was in, I was never like the best in that sport. I had to work really hard to be really good.
Hmm.
And I was good. I was always up there with those guys that were good, but I had to work my ass off for that. And I always hated this. I had this buddy, Wes. Wes was like, just one of those naturals. Like Wes could knock up his entire life and still be like the most amazing hockey player you've
Yeah.
ever been around, just naturally. Big. He was 6'2", 6'3", big guy, could skate like the fucking wind,
Yeah.
had hands, like could hit, could fight, could everything,
Yeah.
everything. And you're just like, and here I am just grinding, getting beat up in the corners, just a little bull, just doing whatever I could
Yeah.
to dish that puck out and get a goal. And I would, but I was always beat up, always had to work my ass off for it. And then there's always those guys like
Yeah.
probably like your brother-in-law. It's just
Yeah.
like, hey, I'm a natural. I could drink my face off
Yeah. Yeah.
and go out here and get first overall.
Yeah. And Wayne, he sleeps for an hour and goes out and doesn't lose a lap. I'm like, man, like,
Yeah.
what's wrong with you?
So for anyone listening, maybe you're that guy, but you already know if you're that guy.
Oh, yeah,
So
for sure.
so for the rest of you, you got to work harder.
Yep. Exactly.
Tighten up a little
Keep
bit.
grinding.
What do you think kind of lessons did BMXing teach you that you kind of still apply to today?
Oh, man. There's so many, like, the discipline, for one, was huge. Like, you get to a certain point in your BMX career, where you have to do, you have to buckle down and be disciplined and put the work in, and it sucks, but the outcome is gonna be what you want. Discipline, mindset, like, being able to, I think the the main thing that still carries over to this day is just being able to take criticism in a productive way and not just get down on yourself. And I mean, I've been getting my ass chewed out since I was 7 years old. Like, and my coach that I had growing up, my first coach, he was rough. I mean, he was a Golden Glove boxer, car guy. Like, he was an intense dude. And he didn't care if you were 7 or if you were 20. He was going to shoot you straight, and he might get a little loud, and yell at you.
Mhm.
And there was a lot of kids that just shut down and didn't know how to handle that. And there were some kids that maybe didn't, but figured it out. And I appreciated it. Like, it made me mentally just, I don't want to say tougher, but it made me mentally, like, learn how to take that and turn it into something productive and it be a good thing. And I'd say that's still to this day, like, the biggest win that I take out of all that stuff, just all the mentals, and like when I lived in California, I was with my brother-in-law. I got to train at the Olympic Training Center for 2 years. And I would go there and visit when I was younger, but those 2 years after I graduated high school were like full time. And they have like mental coaches there, and we would go through mental classes. I mean, we had
Sure.
nutritionists, the whole nine. And there was just a lot of psychological stuff that I learned that translates over now, like, you know, just perspective on things. They were big on like the visualizing stuff, learning how to set goals and what that means, not just like some crazy random thing, like having intention behind all your actions. Um, a lot of that stuff like still helps me out a ton today.
I love that you mentioned that. I talk about that kind of stuff quite a bit, and I'm sometimes reluctant to talk about it on the podcast because it seems like it's like fluffy, kind of floofy kind of
Yeah.
shit that you're talking
Yeah.
about. When you mentioned visualization or like goal setting or like, but it's not.
No.
It's not at all. And there's like something really powerful about like sitting down in the morning or whenever and just grabbing a piece of paper and writing down a few goals because I would say like once you like take it from your brain and put it on paper and set that as an intention
Yes.
and set it as a goal of yours, the little micro decisions that you make in your day start moving you either towards those goals or away from those goals.
100%.
So if you've set them and you've got them and you're like visualizing yourself doing that or seeing that or being there, like every decision you make is going to start moving you closer and closer to that.
For sure.
And that's the way it's worked for me.
Yeah.
And it's not floofy stuff. That's not like it's like I manifested.
Yeah, it's
It's like no, I set it as a goal and as an intention,
right.
and now I'm like moving myself towards that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, it's some people are like, "Oh, no, that's totally crazy," like, and I'm like, "No, it's doesn't have to be crazy." Like you said, like, you set a goal and your subconscious mind is going to help you towards that, and you don't even know it.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, you do, and, you're intentional about stuff, but that was a huge thing. I mean, and it should be in all sports, and I'm sure that it is. I mean, I translate that over now that I don't race BMX, and I started team roping and kind of doing that sort of stuff. Like, all the mistakes that I made and things I didn't do in my BMX career, I'm doing now, and it's something that I really like because I mean, I'm wired to compete. Like, that's all I've done my whole life. And when I quit, and I was lost. Like, I was like, so, well, I don't know what to do with my life. This is crazy. This is all I've ever known. So it's been good for me now to start into something totally brand new with a clean slate. Like, it's been kind of fun.
Talk
So,
about that a little bit because that is something that I was just mentioning it to Adam. I guess I had in here beforehand. Um, when you lose that sense of like purpose, because I share this story I've shared quite a bit about this guy named Noah Edmonds, and when he left the military because he was discharged medically from the Air Force after 2 tours in Afghanistan, like medical discharge from extreme trauma and PTSD,
mhm.
he lost a sense of purpose, and direction, and because the military was that for him, and it was kind of like taken away from him,
Yeah,
unexpectedly, and now had to find something. And I think more people than just that go through things like that. Like
for
for
sure.
you, it was like leaving BMXing. I had similar thing with hockey. I honestly have had the similar thing with line work. I left, like I did it like
Yeah,
competitively against myself,
yeah,
for 15 years. I did every aspect of this trade. I'm passionate about it. I love it still, but like I don't do it anymore. I'm not on tools anymore.
right.
And so like I've had that feeling, with line work. So anyway, that to be said, like I think a lot of people go through that. So talk about how you dealt with that transition. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was tough. So and I didn't just wake up one day and be like, I'm done. I don't want to race anymore. I had a really good year. Probably my best year as a professional. Going into the next year is kind of a slower start, but living in Colorado, we're kind of limited on what we can do. And I was at a race in Rock Hill, North Carolina, had a really bad crash, fractured some discs in my back, and it was like, I landed, couldn't feel one of my legs for a while. Like in it, I had some friends, or still do have some friends that had some life-changing accidents. So I was already it was on my mind, and that happened. I'm like, okay, I need to take a step back. And I came home and I was working for a family friend, just making some money just to do something. And I started hanging out with all of my childhood friends. I mean, I'm super, super tight. All my good friends, I mean, they're family to me. And I hadn't seen them in a while from living in California. So started hanging out with them. And that's when I decided, like, okay, I think it's time. Like, I want to live you call it a normal life. And once I did that, everything was all fun and awesome for like 6 months. I'm working, buy a pickup, I'm doing this stuff. I'm like, this is so cool. And then it was like, oh man, like I'm lost. Like I don't know what to do. Like what normally I wake up right now and I go to the gym and I come home and I eat and I train and I do this. Like I don't know what to do. So I still tried coaching my team for a little while, and I could just, tell I wasn't all the way in it. So then once I stopped that and was totally isolated from it, I was really like, wow, okay, now what? So I got a job driving fuel trucks and oil trucks. This friend of mine that I grew up with, lived with, was working there. Was like, hey man, get a job. So I thought, okay, yeah, that's something to keep me busy, and I got to make money. And I was doing that, and I hated it. I learned, I mean, I got something out of it. I got my CDL there and like drove truck, and I learned like, okay, this is not what I want to do. I'm grateful to be here making money because there's a lot of guys that aren't, but this isn't for me. Um, and during that time, I mean, I was 23. That was my first real job at 23, which was also kind of weird. Trying to get a job at 23 years old was insane. Like, send a resume. BMX pro. Like, I'm trying to fluff it up as much as I could, like coaching and community outreach. And
Yeah.
people are just like, dude, you're 23 years old and you've never had a job. Like,
Yeah.
good luck. So I was just glad
That's
to
a real
get,
thing too.
oh, big time. I mean, it was insane. But then I started just, I was 23. We were partying. We were living it up. Like, I'm sure you saw on my Instagram. Like, we thought we were rock stars and
Yeah.
doing our thing. And then I hit a certain point there, like, now I'm really like, there was times I would sit in my kitchen and just stare at a blank wall. Like, what am I doing? Like, I can't do this forever. And then that's kind of what led me into getting into the trade. And
How did you find the trade?
so my grandpa and his brother worked for Sturgeon Electric back in probably the 40s, 50s,
Yeah.
somewhere in there. They were just groundmen, they weren't linemen or anything. My grandpa's brother got out of the army and said, hey, you want to go? I know a guy. You want to go to work? Grandpa said, sure. And on they went and did their thing there. So we had kind of known like what it was. My brother is a lineman. And so he went actually, and I kick myself kind of to this day for not doing this, but he got a BMX scholarship to Colorado Mesa University to go to line school.
Cool.
And so he was on the BMX, the cycling team. They
Cool.
paid for his line school, and he's like, dude, come with me. Cause he's younger.
Yeah.
He's 2 years younger than I am. And at that time I was just like, no way, dude, I'm racing BMX. Like I'm living it right now. Like I'm not doing that.
Yeah. Just wrong timing.
It was bad timing, and it all works out how it should have, and I'm super glad I did it the way I did. But so he did that, so I had known about that, and 5 of my other really, really close friends are also linemen. So it was like, "Hey, man, go to line school, go to line school." I'm like,
Yeah.
"No, no, like, there's other ways to make money. Like, I don't wanna just go straight into one thing. I kinda wanna, see where I can use the skills that I've learned doing what I've been doing and see what fits." And, I mean, I hauled fuel and oil. That I didn't really like that. I worked for a big dirt excavation company, and I didn't mind that.
Yep.
I mean, I'd built BMX tracks and been around that stuff and ran equipment, so that was cool. It was just too slow in the winter. I mean, I didn't. They just wouldn't work, and that wasn't going to work for me.
No.
So I left that deal and thought I'm gonna be a salesman. My dad's been in sales his whole life, and he's like, "Dude, I think you can do it. Like, do it." And I like talking to people and like that people interaction. And so I worked for some roofing company, and it was like a door knocking, like hailstorm rolls through, and I was like, what am I doing?
You probably
Like,
learned a lot through
oh yeah, like
that.
I'm knocking on people's doors that hate you already
Yeah.
because you knocked on the door, and just getting yelled at and stuff thrown at you. And I did that for 6 months. I was like, okay, that's not gonna work, like, what should we do now? And City of Fort Collins was hiring in their water utility department. So I was like, "Oh, I'll go give that a shot." Had a friend that had already done that sort of thing. And I worked there for 2 years, and it was good. I learned a lot. I mean, ran equipment, just kind of learned the utility world on the water side. So that was kind of cool and different. And it was good. I just the money just wasn't enough for what I wanted to do and the goals that I had already set. So I said, "All right, you know what? Let's do it. Let's go to line school." And I had called this line school like multiple times, like, "Hey, I'm interested," but wouldn't pull the trigger. And I'd fill out an application, but I wouldn't commit to it. And I called them the last time. The guy's like, "Are you ready this time? Like, are you gonna go?" And I said, "Yeah, this is it. Like, I'll send you everything right now." And I sent it to him and got enrolled, and I got lucky. Like, they were almost full, and I glad I called when I did. Um, and then ended up going. And
What do you think the hesitation was the whole time?
for me, it was just, I mean, at that time I had a house, had rent to pay for. My wife now, she lived there. She was going through school. She had a lot on her plate. I mean, I had a truck payment. I had all this
So you just kind of
stuff.
had to work.
And it was like, man, how am I going to do this? Like, I'm an adult now. Like, this is going to be a lot, and it's not going to be easy. And so that was kind of my
Mhm.
hesitation. And I should have done it the first time I signed up. But again, like, I'm big into stuff happens at the right time and for a reason. So
See, I just think I agree with that too, though. I do agree with that fully. But also, that's good advice for, because there's a lot of people like very young that listen to this show. Like even my kid,
mhm,
18, came up to me and said, "I want to be a lineman" a few months ago, just graduated high school. And I tell him, and I've told his brother as well, his brother's 21, like, get your shit figured out while you can.
yeah,
Like I get it. You're still trying to work it out, figure it out. Like,
yeah,
and I'm not rushing you, but like I'm just telling you, the sooner you can figure it out before responsibilities start stacking up,
for sure.
the better off you're going to be. And it's not like you won't figure it, like you'll always figure it out,
Right.
you know, but you might not like some of the decisions you have to make after, like, because you might have to sell that truck that you bought. You
100%. a hundred
You
percent.
might have to like move out of that house that you just bought. I know you just bought it a year ago, but you might have to sell it, move
Yeah.
out of it, and move back in with your parents, even though you just got married,
Right. Yeah.
you know, because you got to go to Lions, like you got to go to a thing like Lion School, or you got to
Yep.
go back to school or something. So anyway, the sooner you can figure it out, well, you don't have all those
Oh yeah.
responsibilities yet.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And my parents had told, like, I had tried to get like a job at like the van store, and my dad's like, "Dude, no. Like, you got a good thing going with BMX. You're
Yeah.
gonna get a job, you're gonna get that first paycheck, and then you're gonna make decisions that hold you to that job forever.
Yeah.
Keep doing your thing." And they gave me great advice and helped me out as much as they could. I mean, we don't come from a whole lot, Never saying we went without, but
Yeah.
we didn't have super nice stuff. And I love that. It made me who I am today, the way that I grew up. And so I do wish, while they were still kind of supporting the dream, I would have made those decisions. But it was good to have to figure it out. And I had bought a truck that I'd wanted for years and years and years and said, you know what? I'm serious about this. I'm selling the truck. And I sold the truck. And I had to make a lot of sacrifices to go to line school. And I mean, I was fortunate. A friend of mine who's a lineman down in Pueblo, he said, hey, man, you can live with me if you're serious. I said, absolutely, I'm serious. So, I'm trying to figure out rent with him, rent at home, like all these bills. And I had sold my truck and I bought this little beater S10 Chevy that I'm like, it'll get me there and back, I hope, for 4 months at least.
Yeah.
And I'd load my cooler up with frozen dinners and some food from Walmart, and
It's a
on we
Chevy
went.
S10, it's a Ford Ranger, or it's a Mazda B22.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Nothing crazy. And you make it work. And luckily for me, I mean, there was times I would go to races and I'd spend my last $40 on fuel to pull in. And it was like hey man, if you don't do well and make money, you're stuck in New Mexico. Like, how are you going to get back to California or get back to Colorado? So I put myself in those kind of back against the wall situations a lot. And I really like that. It kind of motivates me and kind of gets me fired up. So that kind of felt like one of those situations. Like I can navigate this. I can make this work and do this and still, keep a healthy relationship with my wife and, pay for everything and not put extra stress on her while she's going through school. And so it was good. And I had a great time at school, and I'd wanted to go to the one in Texas, that NLC, and that just wasn't going to work. It was too far and I couldn't just check out for 4 months.
Sure.
But, the one in Colorado Springs it was awesome. I had a great time.
I always recommend, like, line schools get a lot of negative press, but I think that they should get more positive press as
Yeah.
well, because I think it just really depends on the individual.
For sure.
And I always tell people, like, a foot in the door is a foot in the door.
Yep.
And if paying your 15 to 20 or whatever it costs you to go to line school helps you meet somebody, helps you learn something, helps you network, it gets that foot in the door for you,
Yeah.
go. Is it the only way? No, you can go sign the books at a hall.
Yeah.
And wait and wait and wait and hopefully get pulled up and then just do your apprenticeship like everyone else. And that's
For
a
sure.
great way too,
Yeah.
but I don't know. I hate when people discourage line school,
Yeah.
because I think it can be valuable.
Yeah. I agree. I mean, I heard this. I've been getting told this my whole life from my dad. The grass is green where you water it, and whatever that is, you can think it's going to be greener over here. And if you do this, but you know what? If you're going to line school, water that grass, make it everything you want it to be, because they're not there to make your experience. They're there to teach you the bare bones about the trade, so you at least can comprehend a little bit. I mean, at least that's what it was for me.
You're not going to learn nothing. It's like,
Right.
again, like, water the grass where it is. Like, go there and, like, apply yourself.
Yes,
Just fucking apply yourself, and you're going to learn something
right,
valuable that you can take away from it.
for sure.
Don't think that you're going to know everything.
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
that's because you go there, you come back out of that, and, like, I know how to build power lines now. It's like, you
definitely
don't.
not.
A lot of kids do think that, though.
Yeah,
So it's not that either. It's just, yeah, apply yourself, take what you can learn from it.
yeah,
And I always hear people say online, like, save yourself the 20 grand. It's like, at least it's not 200. At least you didn't
right.
spend 200 grand on a useless college program that you're never going to freaking use that degree.
Yeah,
Some basic arts degree that you're not really into. You're just looking to buy yourself time.
right,
But
exactly.
now you're 200 grand in the hole. It was only 20 grand and you learned some valuable shit out of it.
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah, yeah. I think it's
It's
I mean,
cheap education in my mind.
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always joke with my wife. She's got a master's and all these, like, actual degrees.
I'm not
and-
knocking the basic arts degree. all right?
No. No.
It's just for some people like you and I,
Yeah.
it's just not the
Oh,
thing.
for
right?
sure.
At
Yeah.
least we didn't spend 200 grand on it.
Yeah, no, totally. I always give her a hard time. I'm like, can we put my my line certificate next to your bachelor? She's like, no. I'm like, well, I went to college. It's facilitated through a college. I went to college, and we always joke about it, but no, it's and that was another thing that I transferred over from, like, my BMX life was, you can make something what you want if you put in the work. And I mean, they almost canceled my semester because the lead instructor bailed out 2 days before class started, and they almost refunded everyone the money, which I'm so thankful they didn't do that. And So we had like, they just made it work. We didn't have someone reading because we do like the first year book of an apprenticeship program in there, and we didn't have someone reading that stuff to us or telling. It was like, hey guys, go ahead and read that book and let me know if you have any questions. And at first I'm like, dude, I just paid how much money? And like, they're just like, do your thing. But then it's like, hey man, in the real world, you got to figure it out and ask questions and get involved and make it what you want. So there was a lot of younger kids in there fresh out of high school, like literally graduated, went to line school, so I tried to be the motivator.
You also never know what nugget you're gonna get from it. It's like I've had a mentor say, "It's what's caught, not taught." So it's the little things that you catch. It's not necessarily what that teacher's teaching you, right? You
Right.
caught something small that you can now apply. It's like, oh, it's that thing. Like, I don't know how if you follow out Alex Hermosi, he's a prominent business guy online. Um, he paid 100 grand to go sit with a guy named Grant Cardone to learn something about how to better his business and how to make more money.
Right.
He paid 100 grand for 45 minutes. He walks in there and he says within 6 minutes, he had the answer that he needed and he walked out. He's like, I don't need to waste any more of your time. I don't need
Yeah.
anything else. I got what I came here to get. 6 minutes later, paid 100 grand for it.
That's crazy.
So it's like, it's perspective, you guys.
Yes.
Like it's
Yeah.
100% perspective. I know 20 grand might be expensive for you, but like if it gets you that thing that you need to get your foot in the door, go freaking do it.
Yeah. It's all worth it.
Yeah.
It's, yeah, and fortunately for me, like all of my friends that had either went to that same school or went to school were like, dude,
Yeah.
they told me the same thing. Like, you're going to learn how to climb.
Yeah.
You're going to get comfortable climbing. And that's good. It's a good thing to have, but you're not going to know you're not going to know anything when you come out of here as far as building power lines.
Sure.
And that's fine.
So you come out of it, and what was it like finding a job? How's that process been and gone?
That process was a little tough for me. Obviously just being stretched so thin to get there. I'm thinking like, I have to get a job. Like the day we graduate, the next week I'm working. And that was like a goal of mine, even though I had no control over that. I just, that was my goal. And it was tough. I had met some guys at our like rodeo day. That's what we did before we graduated, had a little rodeo, and some companies came and talked to us, and I had met some guys and just tried to make the best impression that I could on them and talk to them and get some advice from them. And they're like, yeah, we're gonna be hiring. We just don't know when. I'm like, okay, sounds good. But it felt promising, and uh, it was like months. And so my brother had worked at the city of Fort Collins at that time. He was in an apprenticeship. So I thought, well, I got a good chance. I think I came from the water utility there. Like, I imagine I could probably get a groundman job over there. I'd call them, nothing. And they're like, yeah, we just don't have any openings. And so it was months. I mean, I interviewed at quite a few places around, and it was kind of tough too, because I wasn't willing to leave Colorado.
Yeah.
I didn't want to leave the Fort Collins area just because of like my wife, going to school there and my family. And it was just, I kind of had like some parameters that I had.
Goalposts now, right? You have
Yeah,
responsibilities.
for sure. I didn't.
That's again why I say, like, if you can figure this out sooner.
Yes. Yeah. Like I wasn't, the young kid that had nothing holding them back. Like, yeah, go to
You could go sign
Utah.
books and somewhere. Yeah.
Right. So, and I knew that going in, like, hey man, this is a huge gamble. If you are only willing to stay here, like this is not gonna be easy. And yeah, it wasn't. There was probably, let's say I graduated in November and I didn't get hired on until end of February. So that was tough. So then because when I would come home, line school was Monday through Thursday. So Thursday nights I'd drive back up to Fort Collins and just find any kind of work that I could. I'd go help a friend of mine was working on a ranch out east, so I'd go help him for a day for a tank of fuel and maybe $100, maybe. So that's what I was doing on the weekend. So doing that after I graduated, while I was kind of in that treading water time, was tough. Just finding any kind of work that I could.
Yeah.
And again, had some times of sitting in my kitchen staring at a blank wall. Like, did I just totally flip my life upside down, like for no reason? Like, is this gonna work? And I had to really like, no, man, like this was the right choice let's make this a really positive thing. And ended up working out. Ended up got a job, like I said, end of February, and was a groundman over at the city, and that's kind of what started it all. And so it was,
How has the how's your Western like lifestyle been an influence in, your day to day now?
um, it's, I don't know, it's kind of the same as like the BMX stuff, like just everything's very similar. Like I've got some friends that pro rodeo and do all that stuff, and talking with them and listening to like the way they live and like their schedule and like going to these rodeos, it's the exact same as what I was doing BMXing. Like different state, you're busy, you're practicing, you're doing this, you're doing that.
Yeah.
So that's what like really drew me into that whole life. And my grandparents owned a ranch up in Evergreen for a long time. They actually like kind of neighbored Willie Nelson had a ranch up there, so that was kind of cool. They got like pictures hanging out with him. But anyways, uh, so when I had stopped racing and started working, everything was good. And then I got to a point where I'm like, I'm missing something. Like I don't know what it is, but I'm missing a piece. And it was that like competing, something to look forward to, something to get my mind off of just work. Like, and I didn't want to just work and go home and wake
Yeah.
up and go to work and drink on the weekends. Like that's not healthy. That's not good. Like I don't want to do that. And a lot of my friends had already been team roping. Like I said, like some of the guys were pro rodeoing and doing that stuff. And I jumped into that like full gas, and it's been great. It's
Cool.
awesome. Like day to day, like life, like everyone, like the values, like the culture, like
Yeah.
it's all very similar from what I came from. And I just have really enjoyed it.
I got a couple good friends like Jeremy Bueller and Ren Richard,
Oh, cool.
team ropers, friends of mine, and Derek Begay.
Yeah.
Um, I talk to them quite a bit, and they're big. I got introduced to them through Quanta Services because they're ambassadors for Quanta,
Yeah.
and just like their culture is very similar to ours. Their values, like that, the Western values, very similar to like values you'd find in the line trade, right?
For sure.
Um, Big on obviously like brotherhood, camaraderie, that sort of thing. But then just like the two worlds really fit well together.
Yeah.
Um, they know how to like ranch rodeo kids know how to like wake up, feed your animals before you feed yourself. Like
Right.
just something like that, right? It really fits. They know how to get up before the sun comes up, put some boots on,
Yeah.
go out and work hard outside, build stuff with your hands,
Yeah.
be out in the weather. I don't know. Those two worlds just like they really work well together. I love talking about it with those guys. And
Yeah.
I've also interviewed Casey Field um, on the show before. Same sort of thing, man. I love Casey. Just such a such a great guy talking about mindset and goal
Yeah.
setting and stuff. Like Casey's just like 6, 7 time world champion.
Yeah.
Um, amazing person. I don't know. Their values align with ours
For
in a
sure.
lot of ways. And I think we could learn a lot, you know, about the way they do things and about, I just like, I like pro athletes. I like that whole like mindset realm, I think is super important. I think if linemen, applied more of that sort of thing to their life, it
Yeah.
would work better for them and work out better for them in the end.
Yeah. For sure. I totally agree. It's like you said, just the core values are there and they can translate over to almost anything but, the line trade specifically because it is, I mean, it's competitive. I mean, there's a ranking, you know what I mean? Like it's super similar. And yeah, that's why I'm a huge like with guys that come from like a professional athlete background, like, dude, get into a trade. Like, I'm not saying line work is the only trade, but you will see like you can move over and do pretty well, if you keep those same core values and the same kind of mindset that you did before. Um,
That's why we encourage these kids that are in the ranch rodeo world. Um, we like to get in and talk to them about the trades and talk to them about line work and just like educate them on it because I think that that's something that this trade and lots of trades are failing kids these days
yeah.
is getting into schools, getting into communities where these kids are a part of that align well with what we're doing and educate them on the trades because there comes a day when like maybe you can't rodeo anymore,
Right.
if that's your thing, or maybe you can't BMX anymore
Yeah.
or play ice hockey anymore, whatever it is. And kids don't often know what field might translate well. Like,
Yeah.
okay, like I got all these skills, especially again in the ranch rodeo world, if we talk about like all of those skills, but other ones like they probably know how to work heavy duty equipment,
Right. Yep.
like big plus there. They probably know how to run a saw, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah, even the small they know how to pick up a shovel and dig a hole, like,
for
and not even
real,
think about it.
and not even think about it
Yeah.
at all,
Yeah.
you know. Um, you're probably mechanically inclined,
Yep.
like you've fixed irrigation, you've fixed equipment, how to get it running again, because that's your livelihood.
Right.
You've built fence lines, shit like that,
Yeah.
like, how to like, it's pulling wire,
Right.
it's a little different,
Yeah.
but I got to make a straight fence here.
Right. You can
I'll put
problem
posts
solve,
in. I got to, yeah,
you
exactly.
know?
I know this. If I don't anchor this corner right on this fence, it's going to fall over. So there's some guiding principles.
Yep.
I don't know. You learn some things that can apply, and that's why we love it so much. I don't know. I love it. And
Yeah.
I like to promote it.
Yeah, and it seems like and I'm still so new to the trade. I mean, I'm a first year. I started my apprenticeship over when I switched over to where I'm at now, but I just hit my 1 year mark like a month ago. So I'm still super new, but even just talking to the people that I have, like it seems like these companies, these places, like that's what they're almost looking for
Yep.
when they're interviewing guys. Like when I interviewed at this job, I had a big 3x3 hay bale on my flatbed, and I pulled up, and that was the first thing they brought up, and the HR lady's like, "Hey, is that your truck with the hay on it?" I'm like, "Yeah, I had the day off. I wanted to make the most out of my time today, so I picked up some hay." And she was like, "Oh, man," like, that right there, she told me later on, like, "We look for that kinda stuff, like, oh, you're willing to go load hay all day and unload hay. You know how to kind of do hard labor," type deal. It was kinda funny. I never really thought about it, and
Yeah.
talking to some younger kids that do rodeo, like, hey man, check it out.
Yeah.
At least look at it. If you don't like it, I mean, because it's not for everybody. You tried, and who knows, you might meet somebody, and that might open a door for you somewhere else. You never know. But
Some of the biggest contractors in these areas all have owners, like founders or presidents now, that come up in the ranch rodeo community,
yeah,
or they own ranches now themselves, and they come up, cowboy,
yeah,
you know,
yeah,
Probst Electric was Reggie Probst, cowboy, owns a ranch. Carl Studer, Summit, um, even Partisan of Par right now, uh, come up in the mountain states, apprenticeship through the mountain
yeah.
states. And like it's great. Even so, you mentioned sturgeon. Sturgeon operates out of the Denver area as
Hmm.
well, but their California district or whatever, they just took first overall at the International Lineman's Rodeo,
No,
their
nice.
team, and they hit the stage all cowboyed up.
Yeah,
This is California kids, man, like
yeah,
California guys. Like one of them, I forget his name, is all tattooed, neck tattoo,
yeah,
full sleeves, like very California. Come up on the stage, cowboy hats and
yeah,
nice jackets, and just like, so it is a culture no matter what. Like no matter if you're California or if you're
for sure.
mountain states. That's I don't know. I like it. I dig it.
Yeah, yeah. It's the Western industry right now, I think, is like the highest and craziest it's ever been. Like people want to be cowboy. And people are like, "Oh, you a cowboy?" And I'm like, I don't, you
Thanks,
know."
Yellowstone.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, well, I don't work on a ranch. I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I might go help somebody here and there. Yeah, I team rope, like that's what I do. But I think being a cowboy is not just wearing a hat. It's who you are and what you do or what you think or what your values are. I mean, it's kind of a broad definition. It could be something different for anybody. Like, and I kind of like. I mean, I ride motorcycles, I got a Harley, you know, I ride horses. Like, I don't care, I'll wear my Vans to a team roping. Like, you don't have to wear cowboy boots to be a cowboy. That's what a lot of people always say. Like, well, where's your boots at? It's like, dude, I wear work boots every day.
Bro, I love that so much. Such a great saying. You don't have to wear cowboy boots to be a cowboy. It's so true.
Oh yeah,
It's a mindset.
yeah.
Yeah.
Some of my best friends that are through and through cowboys. Everything about them, they're cowboy. I've never even seen them in a pair of boots.
Jordan 4s and
They got Jordans, they got Vans, like, I used to be sponsored by Vans, and I had a ton, like, crates of Vans, and they were like, "Dude, can we have those?" "Yeah, man, take them. Like, go for it, and that's all they wear, and those dudes are as cowboy as they come. So, yeah, you don't
talk about team roping a little bit. What's that been like to get into?
it's been awesome. I have had so much fun, like I said, learning something new, and my good buddies, they all rope, and that's kinda I'd go over, run the chutes for them. Push cows up for him, kinda just be around it, and I'm like, "Man, I really dig this," and my one friend, "Hey, I got an extra horse, like, hop on, ride her," and I'd ridden horses as a kid and stuff, but not, like, crazy. I BMX. I didn't have time to do anything else. Um, so I would go over there and just ride and do my thing, and then kinda starting to learn how to rope, and, my other good buddy, Wyatt, he goes, "Buy yourself a team rope and dummy, buy yourself a rope, and just learn how to rope it." He says, "When you do that, then when you are able to buy a horse, now you know how to swing a rope. Now you can focus on just riding your horse good." And because it's a lot putting it all together at once. And so that's what I did. I bought a dummy and roped the dummy for years until I could afford to buy a horse. And I finally bought my own horse and started team roping and started going to practices. And it's just been so much fun. Like, I feel like it was when I first went to the BMX track, like, no idea what I'm doing, and that's how it was, like, going to the practice pen and, like, learning and kinda going through the ranks, and now I'm still like, I'll go compete. We go up to Steamboat, and, we go up to Cheyenne, and, I just went to a jackpot yesterday, actually, out in Eaton, and it's just been super fun. It has been a little different paying for all this on my own. Like, BMX side, I didn't pay for that stuff, like, it was my sponsors that paid my entries, and now or my parents, and now I'm dishing it out, and I'm like, "Oh, man, I spent a lot of money. I didn't win any money."
Checks.
Yeah, it's, uh it's a lot, but it's been great. I love it. It's a lot of fun.
How does the rodeo world work like that with like sponsorships and stuff like that? You gotta be pretty good to get
Yeah.
picked up.
Yeah, I mean, like, I am down here, as
Sure.
far as it goes, but I imagine it's probably, similar to how, like, BMX was. Like, I see these guys like Derek Begay and, like, all these guys, it's like they're at the top of their level. And for us, it was personality really was like where a lot of sponsorships came from. Like, hey, I really like this guy. We click. People do business with people. I want to sponsor you. And what that entails, I don't know in the rodeo world, like if it's money and product, if it's them having to sell product. I'm sure it's all sorts of different stuff. Maybe one day. I don't know. I would love to. I've been to entered some amateur rodeos up in Cheyenne, and like being in front of like kind of a smaller crowd and that kind of like world, it really fired me up, and
That's sick.
yeah, it was really
It's
cool.
that
But
competitor in you.
yeah, man, I dig it. And for me, like with the roping thing, like I because in racing, I never like to do something for the first time in front of people. Like, I was the kind of guy that would go to the track by myself, practice,
Get good.
get good, and then just show up, and they're like, "Whoa, where did that come from? Like, who is this guy?" So I couldn't do that roping. So it was kind of like I had to just check the pride at the door, man, and be okay with looking like a fool for a little bit. And
Yeah.
it was good. It was like healthy. I mean, and same thing with like getting into the trade, like looking like an idiot for a while, like is okay.
Yeah.
That's how you learn, You don't know what you don't know.
What are some things are there some things in the trade that you'd like to do? Do you have like a bucket list in the trade of things that you'd eventually like to do?
Yeah, I mean, first thing I'd like to just finish my apprenticeship and top out. That's my first priority and first goal. And from there, I mean, I think being a foreman would be cool. Where we're at, they have like a lead position, so being a lead and then maybe being a foreman, I think that would be cool. I really enjoyed teaching BMX when I was in a position to be sharing knowledge,
Yeah.
and I really enjoy it. And I would love to be able to be in a position in the line world, where I've been doing it for 15 plus years and be able to teach guys coming up. Like, if being a line school instructor paid more, I think I would go do it because I like teaching. I like helping. I like relating, like kind of almost being like a mental coach.
Yeah.
I've done that for some friends that in the rodeo world, like they're like, man, I just don't know what to do. And I kind of help them out with the tools that I've been given, like mentally to help them through whatever it is.
I think there's an opportunity. Yeah, I'll probably get, I don't know, somebody saying something about this, but there's an opportunity right now with social media and attention and how far behind this industry is. And I'll continue to call this industry out at how garbage they are at marketing
Yeah.
and social media, because they are, like, they're horrible at it. Um, and if they don't get better at it or accept it more, they'll just be left behind.
Yeah.
But there's opportunity. That means there's opportunities for people. So here's an example. Like, you build attention, and you say, I wish instructing paid more. It can.
Yeah.
It can pay, like, it could pay millions, because there's kids out there that want help, want coaching, want to
Yeah.
understand what to do in a straight. And it's as easy as packaging information now.
Right.
Like, with the advancements of AI, some of these schools think that they got the patents to all the knowledge. Like, you don't.
Yeah.
Like, it's going to come down to a personality, just helping deliver that, and coaching.
Right.
Right. And that comes down to the individual. So you build a following, you could do that on your own. And I know that they're not going to like hearing that,
Yeah.
but I'm sorry, it's not me. Don't shoot the messenger.
Yeah.
Man, I didn't create AI. I didn't create social media.
Right.
But if you don't start, like, figuring your shit out, you're going to be left behind, because it means, like, an individual like yourself, you could start building social media now, so that when you're at that 15-year down the road
Right.
mark, you've got a following and you've got people reaching out to you, wanting help, and you just go, like, yeah, I can help you now.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, for sure.
That's the point that I'm at.
Yeah.
And I know for a fact I could turn that switch on right now, and, like, I instructed at a line school as well in Texas for Quanah, and it's great. There's nothing better. Like, there's honestly there's nothing better than teaching that pre-op level person,
Mm-hmm.
um, especially if you love teaching and you
Right.
love coaching.
Yeah.
Like, there's just such an amazing uh, group to teach. Linemen are awesome to teach as well, but linemen can be, they come with a lot of, like, baggage already, like
Yeah.
a lot of stubbornness, a lot of, like, I already know kind of
Right.
attitude, a lot of things they've done that are ingrained in them as, like, this is the way. So when you
Yeah.
teach them, it's sometimes hard to get through all that stuff. But, like, when you're teaching that 18 to 25-year-old,
Yeah.
man, they're just sponges. Like, they're learning what you're teaching them, they're learning for the very first time.
Yeah.
And it's the first time they've ever experienced it. So they're just like, teach me.
Yeah.
And that's so cool to be that person that can, like, potentially impart, something good at the beginning. So
Yeah,
yeah,
for
I
sure.
encourage you to keep doing that. Cause, like, if that's something that you want to do, when you get to that point
Yeah.
in life, do it, because it's like,
Yeah.
not everyone does it well either. Like, I've worked with some instructors before that were absolute trash at it.
Right.
They were just there because, they were 25-year veteran linemen.
Right. Yeah.
You
Some
know,
some people just don't have the personality for it. And I've learned that, like, through BMX again. Like,
Yeah.
there would be guys that would come and do a clinic at the track, and you're a young kid and you go to them, and it's that old, then, there were some older generation guys. This is how I've always done it. This is how it's worked for me. So it has to work for you. Forget everything you know. You're doing it this way. And a lot of guys teach clinics that way. And it's like, dude, you're dealing with these kids for maybe 8 hours tops, and you're asking them to forget everything they know, and then you're gone. They'll never talk to you for another year.
Yeah.
Like, that's really tough. And I remember learning, like, just to take one thing from them, like you were saying earlier, like, you don't need to change your whole thing, but we can mold it a little bit and tweak it. And that's what I would always do when I teach clinics, and still do. Like, I'm not going to tell you to forget everything you know. Let's just make some adjustments and work with what you already got going, because you got a good foundation down. And I've noticed that in the last couple of years doing this, or even any, like, blue collar job that I've had, like, there's gonna be guys that want you to do it one way, and that's their way, and that's totally fine. Mold yourself into their way and this guy's way and that way. And I try to do it. I really try to be conscious about it now, because we got a lot of great journeymen where I work, great leads. Like, everybody is to me, seems super knowledgeable and knows what's going on. And so I try to just take everything I can from everybody and make it my own style. And
Yeah.
I've always been about having your own style. Like in BMX, I was always doing like weird stuff. Like I cut the sleeves off my jersey and I wore an Under Armour, like this skin tight, like nylon deal underneath it, and thought like, yeah, this is sick. I'm gonna wear this and it's different. There's no one else doing that. And then like now you look, and I'm not saying like there was a motocross guy who's like big time influence. He's probably Axel Hodges. I had saw that on a Snapchat, him like doing that or something. I was like, wow, that's kind of cool. And like now everyone's jerseys are that way.
Yeah.
Like it's pretty cool. And I don't know. I try to do that now, like at work, and guys are like, what are you doing, man? I'm like, I'm just being different. Like I'm not being unsafe. Like it's just,
Keep
I don't know.
doing that.
Yeah. I like the
Yeah.
different, be different, be yourself, kind of have your own style, you know, with everything you do.
Yeah.
So
I love that. I I watched Jeremy Beeler and Ren Richard run a clinic in Gillette, Wyoming. Just a little roping clinic,
mhm.
a little workshop for some of the high school rodeo kids.
Yeah.
Watching those two like work with kids was like it was amazing. And there's nothing better than teaching, and there's nothing better than giving back through showing the next generation, you know, some skills and tips and tricks
Yep.
and some of the things you've collected along the way, and being able to impart into them in a positive way.
Yeah.
And that's what I saw out of them, and like so cool. Yeah.
Yeah. I'd love to go. I haven't been to a team roping clinic yet. Just timing or wherever, but I'd love to go to one and see what it's like. Just kind of compare them, you know, I'm sure they're pretty similar, but it just, now as an adult, I probably could get so much more out of something like that. And I don't know. I like that stuff. I was fortunate enough to have somebody that kind of took me under their wing coming up, and I really wanted to give that back to some kids. I mean, you know, I still do garage fulls of helmets and gear, and I'll go to these clinics and see a kid. I won't say anything, you know, see a kid that might, you know, they're just getting by. They don't have the nice stuff like, hey man, like you worked your butt off today. Like here's a helmet, here's some goggles, here's something. Like I really like that stuff. It's good.
Sick. Okay, one more for you. Best piece of advice you got for somebody just getting into the trade?
I don't know if I could just pick one thing, but just have an open, positive mindset and don't do it half-ass. Go all in. Go all in, be open, take criticism well, and if you don't know how, figure out how to translate that into a positive thing, and just work hard, man. It's not that complicated to just show up on time, show up early, you know, fill a water jug. You might maybe stay 10 minutes late or show up 15 minutes early to get a few things done. It's just, to me so far, it's just all those little things add up in a positive way. And the more positive attitude you have, the more willing it seems like guys are to help you and to invest time in you. So
Love that, Walker. Thank you.
yeah.
This content is completely free. All right. The only thing I'm asking you for is to hit that subscribe button. And I know it's cheesy. I know it's corny. I know every YouTuber asks you to hit that button, and you're probably sick and tired of it. But if you like the show and you want to see the show grow, this is the way I prove to the people in charge that it's worth investing in. So it's pretty simple, and it's the price you can pay for me. It's no money. It's just a subscribe. Please hit the subscribe, and I appreciate the heck out of you for it.